So, chapter 131 of Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have as much faith in Yuji as I should have. I was rushing the reinforcements that should have came. I was rushing the Sukuna's technique theory, where he would finally be able to use Sukuna's technique against Mahito. I was like, please, anything but a one-on-one fight. But I didn't see him putting up this much of a fight. I mean, could you blame me though? Mahito has blades on his elbows. He transformed and now he has blades on his elbows. I'm like, someone come help Yuji. Someone, please. But nope, no reinforcements, no Sukuna's technique, no nothing. So Yuji starts his chapter off with the obvious, stating that there's something different about Mahito. I'm like, well, what gave it away? The elbow blades? Like he had a whole transformation, of course it's different. And Mahito, stop asking for a happy birthday from Yuji. He's not gonna tell you happy birthday, so just quit it and throw these hands. Cause he can't use curse technique, so he doesn't have a choice. So I kind of forgot about that. That's a plus for Yuji, that Mahito can't use his curse technique. So, and he tells Yuji that through Black Flash he understands his true unbridled soul. Two things. When he says learn Black Flash, does he mean learn as in something he can just do now, like that's in his arsenal and he can just do at will, or does he mean more so like he just knows of what Black Flash is? And two, when he says understands his true soul, does this mean that this form right here is a permanent form now? And if it was, it wouldn't bother me. I would just be like, oh, okay, I guess. But back to the conversation. Yuji responds to Mahito like, oh, I didn't take you for the journey of self-discovery type. I mean, but he is a human curse, so kind of makes sense, I guess. I'll give that to him. And this line right here kind of confused me when Mahito was like, once I kill you, then I'll truly be born. And in the past, Mahito's known for talking about his and Yuji's kind of relationship, like their similarities and stuff, and how he's like, oh, you are me and everything. And I know he doesn't mean that literally. He probably means that like they're like mirror images of each other. I wonder if Mahito looks at their relationship like a Neo and Agent Smith relationship, where Mahito would be the virus and Yuji would be the antivirus. But I wonder how deep that kind of goes. Like does Mahito know something Yuji doesn't in terms of like soul and what's really happening right now, or I don't know. And immediately after that conversation, Mahito attacks Yuji with his elbow blade. Yuji dodges and goes for a face kick. And we see here how Mahito utilizes his transformation, like everything that came with his transformation, like the 3 strands of hair on his head and the elbow blades and his tail, everything's being used. Like it's not all just for show. So he dodges that kick, wraps his 3 thick ass strands around Itadori's foot, and then slices his heel with his elbow blade, and then slaps his leg down with his tail. Like I said, Yuji's only advantage in this fight is the fact that Mahito can't use curse energy. So after he slaps Yuji's leg down with his tail, he goes straight for a punch. Yuji counters by redirecting Mahito's punch and then lands a blow on his ribs, which does absolutely nothing. And this is when Yuji realizes how tough his body is now that he's transformed, and he kind of compares it to the fight with Choso, like how much more tougher Mahito's body is. And right when he has that thought, Mahito goes again for like a blade rush with his elbow, with his freaking elbow blades. Like I knew these elbow blades were gonna be so lethal, man. And when Mahito is going for these flurry of elbow blade strikes, by the way, you're gonna hear me say that a lot. I like the elbow blades. Yuji thinks back to what Mahito said when he said he's learned his true unbridled soul. And then Yuji goes, could it be? He's already, I'm like, already what? I really didn't understand what he was going for. Like, does it mean like he's already like a different kind of being or something? Like he's already past what he was and just different. Like this all he is. It's different. Like Mahito is different. But I don't know what he meant by could he be he's already. If someone can tell me what he was talking about in that little internal dialogue moment, just let me know in the comments below, please. Or at least what you think what he was talking about. And Yuji was kind of holding his own against these elbow blade strikes. Like some were tagging him, but he was like redirecting and dodging some of the strikes. And he was even trying to counter and with his own attacks and punches, but they just weren't reaching. And even if they did reach, he has really tough skin, and he probably can't hit as hard as he wants to when he's being like attacked with such a flurry. And Itadori realizes how much of a level he's jumped since he transformed. He's just on another level as a curse spirit in general. And right when he realizes that, he gets face palmed and then slammed to the ground, which makes a crater. It makes a crater in the ground, and then that's where they fight. That's their next like stage where they're gonna fight. It's just like in a crater in the ground. And it's just You see the drainage pipes. You see just water flowing in. It's a cool scene for this battle right now. But how it was made, I don't particularly agree with. But even after being slammed and having a crater made out, but even after him being slammed, he's still good. Like even after taking the flurry of blades, he's still clean. I mean, he's still taking that damage. Like it shows that when his leg was shaking, like later on in the chapter, it's showing that damage is adding up and his body is having an effect. But he just has to go. He has to keep going because both of them are in like a extreme state of focus. They've been using Black Flash. They're in the zone right now still. Like it's hard to believe. I just hope that Mahito really can use Black Flash at will. I mean, I doubt that they're done using Black Flash for this fight. But yeah, in this break between action sequences, when I said Yuji realized his leg is shaking, the one that got hit by the tail whip, he just slams his fist into his leg, trying just stopping the shaking so he can just keep fighting because he has a mission. He's on a mission. And even Mahito, it shows that the damage throughout this fight is still adding up right now to him because the blade, the elbow blade, kind of chipped off and he started like spouting up blood. I mean, as clean as they seem right now, that damage is definitely adding up. And then Mahito goes, "Oh, it seems like we both got a lot left in the tank." I'm like, I don't think so. I mean, you guys are definitely up to fight longer. No, one more Black Flash from either one of you is probably going to end the fight. So Mahito darts behind Yuji, who looks like he's charging up for a Jajaken. Shout out Gone, man. He can't use Nen no more, so Yuji is just, he's filling in the blanks. So during this charge up for this attack, they're still parrying and dodging attacks for like another panel or two. And that's where the chapter ends off with their just exchange about to be landing. Like Mahito's throwing a punch and Yuji's throwing a punch, and who's going to land it? I think that both of them are going to land a punch, but if not both, then definitely just Yuji, because I just want Yuji to win. So, but I am glad that they shown that scene where Mahito is still damaged. Like it's showing that damage from the fight in general to show that yeah, he transformed, but there's still a toll being taken from him. And the attention to detail at the last panel, where we have Mahito, he's smiling, and then Yuji, he has such a serious face, but you can tell there's all that anger behind it, all that like calmed, controlled anger. Like he's still keeping his composure with it. Like this whole situation's happening. Usually in like an anime or manga, we have the protagonist, he's out of control, or even if he's not out of control, he's calm and collected, and just in any overly emotional moments where things just go over the wall for the character, they just lose it and they get angry and they fight. Usually that's their power up in the fight in general that they needed to win. But no, like we learned that you gotta just keep your cool in these fights, and Yuji is displaying that really well still, like even with all this going on, even when it looks like all the odds are against him. And Yuji has a chunk just missing right like by the side of his lip, just a chunk, so you could still see his teeth even though his mouth is closed. Like that's gross. But the author did say that when it comes to pain isn't enough to stop him. If it's just pain, he keeps going. So it makes sense. And I can see this going on for another chapter. I mean, if this isn't decided by the next hit, I can see this fight going on for another chapter, because Mahito did say we both have a lot left in the tank. Just so maybe that's saying that they're going to keep going. But then again, if we were shown the damage that was taken from both of them from the beginning of the fight and now. So we'll see. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think it'll go on for another chapter? It'll just drag on and because they really do have a lot of energy left? Or do you think it'll end by the next decisive hit? Let me know in the comments down below, because this was a pretty basic chapter. Like just a lot of fighting going on and just showing that they still got it in them. So just let me know down below, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.